All right. Hello, everybody. We're back with another episode of, I don't know, I can't think of a joke. What's our joke review today?
A joke review?
Frittatas. I ate my first frittata this week. It was
Oh, yeah?
microwavable.
Ooh.
It was pretty good, and that's our show.
Join Pikachu, Ash, and the gang. The Mandalorian is great in the new series, and let's check out what's new in the world of pop culture with your hosts John, Tim, and Quentin, and a podcast we call Rewind
and Reload.
I ate my first Taki over the break. And,
Oh, this was recently?
yeah, this was within the last week or so. I bought them because I thought they looked tasty, and they are tasty, but I can only eat like 10 at a time, or else I feel like I'm going to die.
You got a fire burning in the pit of your stomach.
Maybe the blue ones will be better for my poor little white boy stomach. I don't know, anything that's like just like powder spice, like it's rough.
You just gotta eat them with like nacho cheese, like the Frito,
Ooh, okay,
the
that sounds pretty
Fritos
good.
nacho cheese cans.
That sounds pretty good.
It's a pretty good combo. I guess let's get into our weeks. This is actually rewind and reload, not the Taki review. We could do a Taki review though. That'd be fun. That'd be great.
The rewind and reload
whole
food
history
review.
of Takis.
History. It's like fairly short.
They got recently popular because of TikTok. No, I feel like they've been popular for a while. It's just now it's a
Talk.
I feel like
Takis?
yeah.
So how was everybody's weeks besides Takis?
Fine. I went to a wedding. And
Oh, hey, me too.
Yeah, I know. I went with you.
I was also there.
And I made the poor choice of drinking 3 glasses of wine and 3 glasses of coffee, so my tummy hurt halfway through the reception.
I had that same problem actually after I got home. But I also had like, for whatever fucking reason, I was like, I'm gonna drink beer and I'm gonna drink wine and I'm gonna drink coffee. It's gonna be great. It was not. It's fine. It was, however, at a country club, and I'm disappointed that I forgot to bring my bag of dandelion seeds.
Yeah, you kept going on about that.
Yeah, dude, I could go on a whole rant about how dumb golf courses are.
No,
Should
I agree.
Probably not, but I can.
What are we going to do with all those trash heaps, though? You just fill them up, make it a golf course.
So
yeah,
people do.
that's fine, but like,
Yeah, a lot
Well,
of golf courses are just like old
Landfills.
dumps.
yeah,
landfills.
but like,
Why ain't they stinky?
think about how much, even though it's an old landfill,
There's a
like
lot
they
of land
spend
over
so
there.
much fucking money on
I know.
water. They waste
No,
so
it's so
much.
bad. It's a very wasteful hobby.
It's just dumb. I don't know. That's besides the point as well. What about you, John? How was your week? You've been quiet.
Good. My week was good. Last weekend, Carly came home with this little guy. You can't see it because it's really dark, but it is a pink-toed tarantula.
I'm not gonna lie, that just looks like a cup of
named him
dip
Shino.
from the camera.
I named him Shino
Shino, is
Yeah.
that a reference to
From,
something that I...
from Naruto.
No, I don't think so. I think that's just a.
Oh, the bug guy from Naruto. Duh. I don't know how I
Yeah.
didn't catch that. I'm like literally sitting here with like a Naruto mat at my desk. I don't even...
Yeah, so
I'm a fake fan.
he has a little cricket webbed up right now. It's pretty cool looking. We gotta take it out later today.
Don't you have to like cut the crickets up for it still? or has it
Yeah,
grown at all?
I have to have them, but he's growing so quick that the next one I probably just have to kill, and he could probably eat the whole thing.
What else
And
can it eat
then,
besides crickets? Like once they get big, like
Man,
crickets, mealworms.
is there any
If they
wild
get
shit you could just like?
if they get big enough, they can eat like pinky mice or like pygmy mice.
Yo,
There's like ones out in like the wild that eat birds.
I was gonna say,
That's
yeah,
pretty
I've seen
wild.
those.
Yeah, he's an Amazon. He's like or not an Amazon one, but like a tree tarantula. So like I have to get him like a tall terrarium, so then he'll like crawl like up and down a tree and stuff. I'm pretty excited. He's not like one of them ground ones.
One of
Like
those
wolf
dirty
spider or
ground
some shit.
tarantulas.
Dirty ground ones.
Dude, I remember that time we were helping our friend move and we found a fucking black or brown recluse out in the fucking... I don't know if you were with me that time, Quentin. I don't know if that
I
was
don't know.
you.
I've helped a lot of people move.
It was
but
when
I
we were
can't-
helping Alex move.
Oh, I might
I
have
don't-
been there.
And we like, I don't. It was you. I don't know if it was you or not, but it was me and somebody else. And we like moved a box that was sitting outside. There's a fucking brown recluse. And we were like, all right, we're gonna move this one later.
We're not gonna fuck with this right now. Yeah, dude. There's some
This
weird
guy-
critters out there.
This little guy, he is poisonous technically, but just as much as a bee. So if you're allergic to bees, you might not want to hold him.
Okay, I was like, wait, bees are poisonous? What?
Yeah, they got venom.
I didn't think about that. I just
Gotta go get
Yeah,
him.
So like venom.
stop.
But yeah, so if he bites you, you could get irritated and stuff, but like that's about it. And he's super fucking fast. Like really fast.
Fast as fuck, boy.
He got like out of his like container while I was trying to feed him and went all the way up onto like right here in my shoulder, which I'm like pointing to no
Yeah,
one.
no.
But you're like you can see it. And like
Just imagine someone's shoulder.
I was seconds away from like losing him within my eyesight, and I'm like, he's gone forever. But luckily he stopped and went. I was able to get him back in his little cage. So
Amazing.
yeah, so that's been
No
my whole
lost
life the
spiders
last couple
today.
days.
Caring for a small spider.
Yeah, everyone's like, why do you have a spider? I'm like, because I've always wanted one. Leave me alone.
I mean, there's worse pets you can get, like
Large iguana.
Like a
I don't
chihuahua.
know. I mean, like, it depends. Some chihuahuas are cool, but like the fucking chihuahuas that you had growing up, they kind of
I was
suck.
about to say, my mom really ruined small dogs for me. I can't do that anymore. Like I'm fine, like with if friends have small dogs, that's totally okay.
If you just
I'll
train the
enjoy
small
them.
dog like it's a big dog, like how you're supposed to train dogs, then small dogs
Yeah.
turn out fine. But like people don't
I
do
just-
that because it's a small dog.
I just don't want a small dog.
It's my
anymore.
precious poopsykins.
Yeah, exactly.
I could see Tim with a small dog.
Yeah. No. I would have a small dog. I don't want to clean up giant shits.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. Sometimes.
Jasper started pooping in our ditch behind our house, and I am so happy. Like, I don't have to clean up poop very often at all anymore. He just did it. He just took it upon himself to start pooping in the ditch.
Nature finds a way.
It's great. It's so awesome.
Well, on the poop news, we'll move on to
The poop
pop culture news. Really,
Don't
there
even look
is
at me.
none.
I have no idea.
There
Well, that's
really
not
is
true.
none. Loki came out.
Something got announced today. The Lord of the Rings prequel anime. I'm not
Can you
joking.
repeat- can you
I
repeat
thought
those
it was
words?
supposed to be
Can you
live
rep-
action.
Apparently, there's an anime too. It's supposed to be a Netflix exclusive.
A Lord of the Rings
'Cause
prequel anime.
Yes, sir.
I thought HBO was doing a Lord of the Rings thing, but it was like live action.
I thought
They're
so too,
redoing
but
it.
at like E3 or whatever, somebody announced that there's a Or not, maybe not. It was like that thing that what's his name was on for like Sci-Fi Channel.
So does it just happen
can't think of
between
his
The
name.
Hobbit and the first?
I don't know when it happens. If I'm being honest with you,
I'm confused. I have
they'll
so
probably
many
just take
questions.
some. They'll probably just take some shit out of the Silmarillion and be like, yeah, just make an anime out of this.
This could be like Aragorn doing his like striker shit.
Strider.
Strider, yeah. Oh, it's
And
been
then
a while.
no, I just bought the. I haven't actually ever read the books, and I just bought them today, and I'm kind of excited for it.
Oh. I would say let me
Um,
borrow them, but I still have a book of yours that's.
Yeah, I can see it from here.
Right over here.
That's
that I
fine.
need to get back
It's
to.
only been about almost 10 years.
Almost 10 years. It's fine. Oh, like I
There's
said,
something else that
Loki-
got announced.
Loki's
not that
out.
anyone.
That's really
yeah,
good.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't watched it.
Okay. It's I don't know, it's shaping up to be, I think, a little better than WandaVision.
I know. Oh,
Oh,
it's a bold
okay.
claim.
So mild spoiler for
Wow.
you guys.
Owen
Did you
Wilson's
like?
in it.
Yeah. Did you realize? Did you guys know Owen Wilson was in it?
Yeah,
I had no
he's
idea.
in the trailers.
See, I didn't even watch any of the trailers or anything. I just like
They've
kinda
been
went
pushing
into
him to
it
me on
blind.
YouTube since like the beginning of this week, since it's starting. Like comes out today
Okay.
or whenever. And I was like sitting there, and I was like, I looked over because I was playing games or something, and it was on the other monitor, and I looked over, and I was like, is that fucking Owen Wilson?
Dude, Owen Wilson got old.
Yeah.
He's really old looking in it. I don't know if that's just Owen Wilson or if that's his character in the show.
I think it's
but,
because he has a
like, he's got-
mustache.
and like like white hair.
Oh, it could be, yeah.
He's thinned out a little bit too now.
I know he's in some shitty
Like-
movie like beginning of this year.
I
I
just,
don't remember seeing that.
I really
It's
want him to
a-
say wow. He hasn't said it yet.
There's a Elvis the Alien video about it. I don't remember what the name of the video, what the movie is, but it's
Oh,
alright.
I'll have to watch it.
It's
I'm
just
behind on YouTube.
It's a strange video or movie. The Gundam Hathaway question mark movie. Not that you guys know what this is, but that got announced as a Netflix exclusive today. So
Robot
I have more
animes
Gundam
are pretty
content
cool.
finally.
So is that like a
still
brand
need-
new thing?
No, it's a So the main timeline of Gundam is called the Universal Century Timeline.
Yes,
and it's
UCT, right?
Yeah. It's the latest addition to that. Hathaway was actually a character in Char's Counterattack, which was like the first like last movie, and then they made Unicorn and stuff like that. So it'll be
Unicorn was pretty good. That was the only thing I
Unicorn's
can
rad
think
as hell.
of. It's the only Gundam I can remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, Unicorn's rad as hell.
Oh,
But,
gaming
yeah, I don't-
news. I actually do have something. Sorry, let me.
You gonna talk about Dark Souls 4 trailer that got shown today?
No, I was gonna talk about. There's on itch.io. You can get an indie bundle for Palestinian aid.
Oh, I saw this.
You get 1,000 games from a whole bunch of different indie developers for $5. And,
Oh. Okay, I'll be right
Damn.
back.
And yeah, it goes. I don't know. It's pretty cool. Oh no, it might be over by the time this airs. Actually,
Probably. Which is fine. I mean, you got me to
Never
do it.
mind. Well,
They could always check. I might be quick with the editing.
who knows? Maybe it'll
trying to be-
it'll extend. Maybe it'll extend. But
Yeah, I don't know how long. It doesn't say how
itch.io.
long it goes.
So how long do we have from this moment?
From this moment
Trying to-
right now.
1 day, 5 minutes, and 18 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or what?
okay.
5
Yeah,
hours,
probably
18
not.
minutes.
So never mind
Probably
on that.
not.
It was a good
Yeah, we have another episode backlogged before this one, so.
fuck.
Those will probably come out. Honestly, now that I have time to do things, they're gonna come out like back to back.
That's-
so
I
that we
don't-
can be caught up and be done.
Nah, it's. That's what I was gonna make a joke last night when Quinn was like, "Hey, can we like push for another day, and I didn't want to be like, come off as rude to John, but I know he wouldn't care. It's like, well, depending on how you look at it, we're either behind or ahead, so.
Yeah, it just
Hell
depends
yeah.
on. I'm a half full kind of guy. Over
Like, we
here.
can just say we took a week off, and then just be like, oh, we're ahead 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Like, honestly, between the news this week and last week, we probably could do something like that because there hasn't been anything drastic.
Yeah. Holy shit. It really is just 1,000 games, huh?
Yeah, from like 853 developers or something like that. It's insane. There's a lot of really cool stuff on there, actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy this as soon as we're done. It's just like, I wonder how many of these are games I'll actually play.
Who knows?
I mean, I'll have 1,000
That's-
games, so.
That's the thing with like Humble Bundle type things.
Well, now you could start doing like I bought
could-
1,000 games
yeah.
stream
I was gonna say,
and then
since
play
since
like
most
a
of them-
different game every week.
Since most of them
There you
are
go.
like
I was about to
probably
say, dude,
like lower impact games, since my CPU isn't the greatest, I could probably do these. Yeah.
I bet you that
That
a lot
then-
of them are like one sitting games you can play through too.
Then I know it. Like a lot of people recommend like streaming on indie games because you get more people watching you.
Yeah.
You don't get like flooded out like if you play like COD or
Yeah,
like
it's a very,
Fortnite and
it's
shit.
a very saturated market.
Yeah. Like
game-
like the games that you're gonna play probably won't be saturated as much, so you might actually get found.
Oh, these games look. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna buy this when we're done. There's a game called. I don't know about. There's a game called Democratic Socialism Simulator.
What is it? Actually,
Tim, if-
wait. I don't
Tim,
know.
if
Does
you
it
do-
does it give you any info about it or no? That's fine. You could just tell me. We
yeah.
could talk about it later.
We'll just watch this. We'll just wait until he streams that one, and we'll just watch
yeah,
it.
yeah. There you go. On that note, ad break.
Sure,
Yeah.
it works for me.
And we are
Ka-choo, motherfucker.
and we are back. Today we are piercing the heavens and believing in the us that believes in us by talking about one of the best animes from the 2000s, which actually kind of like fucked me up to think about that this originally aired in 2007.
Yep.
I was like, wait, yo, what? I thought
Didn't
it
we
was
talk
like,
about this last time we were on together about how we were amazed at how old some of the animes that we watch actually are?
yeah, like they hold up so well.
Yeah.
And like the
Except for the first,
animation
like,
still
3 arcs
looks
of one-
really good. Oh, it's,
they
yeah.
were- the first 3 arcs of One Piece kind of look like
Doo-doo.
not so good.
Yeah.
Even after they touched them up, they still kind of look doo doo.
Yeah, even in the HD, it's kind of strange. But I like One Piece, so. But I also Gurren Lagann's also my favorite. Oh, did we say that that's what we were talking about?
Oh yeah, so we're talking about Gurren Lagann.
I feel I didn't want to steal the thunder out from under you.
I don't know
no,
if
it's
Quinn
my
ever said that or not. I'm not sure.
it's my
I
it's
think we
it
sidetracked
is,
him.
it is my favorite anime ever. So
It's
There's that.
definitely up there for me, at least top like 3.
I mean,
I
this is
couldn't
the only
give you-
anime I've ever. Oh no, that's not true. I was gonna say it's the only anime I've ever spent $50 on, over $50 on merch on, but I have definitely bought an almost $80 Gundam model kit. So
See, dude, I haven't even watched fucking Gundam, and I've bought 2 Gundams. That's besides the point. Anyways, we're talking about probably kind of cooler robots, I think. Just a little background info. Gurren Lagann is a Japanese mecha anime developed by, animated by Gainax, co-produced by Aniplex and Konami, which I thought that was funny. I didn't realize Konami did like anime stuff outside of like
they
the Yu-Gi-Oh
sometimes.
show. It had a 27 episode run on TV Tokyo between April and September 2007. I'm about to try to do pronunciations. I'm sorry in advance.
Hey, it's not me this time.
It was directed by Hiroyuki Imashi and written by veteran playwright Kazuki Nakashima. In North America, although initially announced to be licensed by ADV Films in 2007, the license was transferred to Bandai Entertainment in 2008, and then transferred to Aniplex of America in 2013.
You know when you hear a word and you can just, like, you can hear
Is
it
it
in
the
your head?
Aniplex?
Yeah.
Yep.
Aniplex.
Yeah.
We're going to get copyright struck for
Just for
saying
that, just for that voice
It
clap
was
alone.
just close enough.
Oh my god. I just, every time you say that word, that's the way I hear it. I had to say something.
No, me too.
I feel like, yeah, that sound was an integral part of probably all of our childhoods.
Yeah. And adulthood.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the UK, it was licensed by Manga Entertainment in 2007, then transferred to Bees Entertainment in 2008, and then transferred to Anime Limited 2013. Which I thought was interesting that in the US and the UK, the licensing was just like switched over to different companies in the same year.
It's
Both.
probably because they're different regions. So like DVD coding is different.
Oh, okay.
If I had to guess.
I don't know how any of that works. I just thought it was cool. And then
No,
I
it
think
is very interesting. I didn't know that.
what made it really big here in America is when the Sci-Fi Channel acquired the broadcasting rights.
Yep, that's how I found it.
Yep, I want to say that's probably how most people were introduced to it. It began airing in the July 2008 as part of Sci-Fi's Animonday anime block, which I forgot that was even a thing,
Yep,
and I miss it.
Yeah.
me too. Have I told you about how I mean, I probably told Quinn in the past, but do you remember how I found out about Gurren Lagann? It was on Animonday. It was the last episode.
No way. So that was like
You
your
watched the
introduction
last
was the last
one?
Yeah.
episode?
Well, it might not have been the
Holy shit.
last episode, but it was definitely when a certain character was just a head in a jar, and I remember
Okay.
that, and I was like, "Yo, this show's rad as hell." So I like went looking for like the whole series and like binged it as like 2008 I would have been 13, so I like binged the whole thing on some like bootleg anime site in like 480p, and it was good. It was of the time and it was great.
You know, that's how we had to do it back then. Me
Yeah.
specifically, I had to do it on a fucking PS3 web browser.
Yep,
So I could watch it
I
on
remember
my TV.
those days.
And that was how I got most of my anime.
Oh, I remember staying up till like 2 to get the like fan sub release of the newest Kill la Kill episode, downloading that shit and watching it at 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I remember. Actually, I just rewatched Kill la Kill 2, which is also by the same
Which is
studio.
yeah. Well, it's made by the same team. Gainax dissolved and then they made Trigger. So
Yeah, my bad. So maybe one day we'll talk about that one too, because I've just been going
I'd love
on
to.
an anime memory lane lately, if you will.
Yeah, because we're doing Naruto next.
We're gonna have just like a whole
I'll have to
fucking,
finish
like,
the game so I can actually talk. Well, I can talk about it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll probably have to do a refresher because it's been over 10 years since I like read
That's
the
fair.
manga.
I'm almost done with Shippuden, so we're just gonna do up to Shippuden. No Boruto bullshit.
Okay. That's fine.
We're just doing strictly Naruto.
Got it. Okay.
We're gonna talk about the Hot Springs Ninjas episode.
Yes.
I think there's more than one.
Yeah. That's all we're talking about. Actually, we're just talking about how
I don't know.
Jiraiya and Naruto were trying to see titties.
I don't
So
remember
upset.
why that stands out. No, I'm just specifically talking about like the filler arc, or like 2 episodes or something, where it's like the ninjas hidden in the land of the hot springs or something. That's like stands out to me as a fucking filler episode when I think of filler episodes.
See,
Mine's the Curry of Life.
I don't know any
fair
of
enough.
these
I remember
filler
that.
episodes. Maybe I'll
You're
have to
not missing
watch
much.
some to prepare. Okay, back to Gurren
Anyways,
Lagann, though.
yeah, sorry.
Finally, on background information, there are 2 animated films. The first premiered in Japanese theaters in September 2008. And correct me, I don't remember. Was the first one the, like, summary of the series, or was that the background info on a character?
So the first movie, which is Gurren Lagann Childhood's End, I think. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Is like it's like the recap of episodes 1 through 14 in a kind of like 2-hour format. And then the second movie at the very beginning has the background of a certain character, and then is the like redone 14 through 28, which is Lagann Hen, all the lights in the sky are stars. I just watched them.
There's some very ridiculous naming schemes for the episodes, and I love it. Because actually, all the lights in the skies are stars was like in the last episode.
I think it's the last. It's the last episode.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Because it's like said twice in that episode.
Yes.
At the
Yes,
end.
you are correct.
At the end.
Okay. Yep, you're right. I remember now. So now I'm gonna give like a very, I guess, quick overview of like what I consider like the first like 3/4 of the show.
Oh, I'm sure I'll butt in.
Yeah, Tim will butt in, give more info where needed, but
I've only seen like 8 episodes,
so you got to like kind of right where it starts kind of getting super good, but not quite to the part where it goes off the rails, but still amazing.
Okay, because I like it was kind of a slow build up to where I was still, where I never finished it.
Oh my goodness, dude!
I need to go back and finish it. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe we can have this as like a recording of us convincing you to watch it. And then we could show this to other people who are on the fence about watching.
And then I'll just put the movies in our Google Drive.
The boobies.
The movies.
Oh, I thought you said the boobies.
I could do that too if you want. There's lots of it from this show.
I remember.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna watch it, but
okay.
I just haven't had time. So, but you can do all your convincing, please.
Okay. So Gurren Lagann takes place in a future where Earth is ruled by the Spiral King, Lord Genome, who forces mankind to live in isolated underground villages. The plot focuses on 2 teenagers, Simone and Kamina. Which I didn't realize Kamina was a teenager, but I don't think it ever explicitly says his age.
It never explicitly says it, but you can assume the Kamina is like 15.
Dude, he's got some badass tats for a 15-year-old. So they both
had okay tattoos at 15.
Oh. Yeah.
My mic definitely just peaked. I'm gonna have to reduce this after the recording.
I forgot about that. It's fine. So they both live in a village, and they want to go to the surface because, of course, you'd want to go to the surface if you live underground.
It's called Jihad Village.
I think I had that. Yeah. Oh, no. Did I erase that? My bad. So Simone finds the core drill, and then he finds his gunman, which is the Lagann, which, correct me if I'm wrong, means face or head in Japanese.
I think it means face. I think. Let me do a quick. It means enveloping face.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah,
which makes sense.
The gunmen in the show are the robots. They're basically like the equivalent to the Gundams of Gundam, if you will. Turns out the core drill turns on the gunman. Who would have thought? And then they fight another gunman, and they go to the surface.
They meet Yoko in that time.
Oh yeah, they also meet Yoko. She's an important character. She's like the
She's the one with the bikini on.
love interest.
For both characters at the beginning.
And then another character later on.
Yeah.
But then she's also really cool and has a gun, and she just shoots giant robots.
She's
A
like
gun that can,
sniper
like, be-
rifle, right?
Yeah, and it can also be fucking... You can just shoot arrows out of it.
Yeah, dude.
I don't think I got to that part.
The guns of the future.
Yeah, it's
are
a strange...
wild.
Like, the movies show her, like, rechambering it, but it's like... I guess it's just like a multi-purpose, like, apocalypse gun somebody made.
I love it. All right, so we're gonna skip a little bit. We're on the surface. We find Gurren, the body of Gurren Lagann. And then we find Kamina's dead dad's body ripped to him.
Yeah, it's a kind of important plot point up to this point that the reason Kamina wants to go to the surface is because he went there when he was like a kid with his dad, and his dad left him behind because it was too dangerous. And then we find out his dad like barely made it away from the village.
Yeah. I thought it was like weird how he like put him back. I mean, I guess I get it that he put him like back underground, but I don't know. I'd be like, I was just very confused about some parts.
I think it was just more.
Yeah.
I think it was like a hey, like I realize this
Like-
is really dangerous, and I will not feel right taking my young son with me.
Yeah.
So
No,
come
well,
find me.
like,
I think there's even the line of like, hey, come find me when you're older, and
I just meant in the fact that like, did he actually go to the surface with his dad, or did his dad like, I don't know, like leave him like right before he got to the surface, and like that's just like
I
a
don't know.
thing he
Yeah, I
tells
guess it's never
people.
explained.
That was like my whole thought process for some. I don't know why I think that way, but something about.
I'm
it
sure we'll
just-
talk about it a little bit later, but that skeleton definitely gave birth to a bunch of crackpot theories that have since been debunked. So
I love fan theories, especially when they're wrong. Skipping ahead a little more because, like John mentioned, it is a little slow. I think at this point we're like episode 3 to 4. We're just gonna skip to 7. Because episode
real quick, I want to
6
mention. I just want to mention the character Viral,
Oh, okay,
who becomes really important later on. He's a beastman who are the like animal human hybrids who live on the surface and kill any humans who come to the surface. He's like a wolf/cat thing with shark teeth.
Yeah, I was.
He becomes
What
the
animal is he?
he's like an amalgamation of a couple.
He's just.
He
every
becomes the rival character of Kamina, so he becomes increasingly important as the show goes on.
animal. Yes. So we're gonna skip ahead because, like I was gonna say, episode 6 is a recap bathhouse episode.
That got censored in the U.S.
I was going to say there was actually problems with that episode because of the airtime. Since it was at a family-friendly hour, quote unquote, they had issues with that and they had to like redo it or whatever.
Specifically, there's a scene where Kamina and Simon are like bouncing on women's breasts to the hot spring, and in the American TV release, they just put big stars over that scene so you can't see anything,
Quality,
which is equal
editing.
parts hilarious and like I love whoever came up with that. It's the like
Just like,
you know
fuck.
the
we gotta do
localization office is
something.
like we're just gonna put big shiny stars over everything and it'll be fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Innovation.
Innovation. So, episode 7, we get the first big character death.
You're gonna want to buckle in, John.
Oh
I'm
no,
in.
if you're
I'm
on
buckled.
yeah, so the big man himself, Kamina, he gets taken out. It is a very
Specifically,
important
Go on.
moment for the show.
Yeah.
Because after this point, it sets up Simone to be the main character, whereas I feel like
Specifically-
before this, they were both the main character.
yeah. Specifically, it's important to mention that the reason it happens is because the night before the big battle, Kamina and Yoko kiss, Simone sees it and gets all weird about it as a young hormonal teenager would. Because that was his crush. and then because of that, like he kind of like falters during the big battle, and Kamina has to like come and knock some sense into him literally, and then because he's distracted, Kamina gets hit and ends up dying, and it hurts talking about it, but it happens.
It is I feel like I can't do justice to the scene by talking about it, but it's
That and then one of the scenes comes later. Yep, I know.
yeah. There's definitely some weight to the character deaths in this show. I feel like you
Absolutely.
definitely feel it
remember that
every time.
I think I remember the Kamina thing a little bit. It's been a while since I watched the episodes that I watched. I remember them finding it. I remember the drill thing, and I think I remember. And then I remember his dad. Like as you're talking about it, I'm remembering more.
Yeah, they're fighting to take this
Kamina
big
watched.
warship called Daigonzan
Okay. I think maybe I was like right before.
from a big
maybe I was
gorilla
in
named
episode
Timolt.
7. Yeah, I think I was like in episode 7.
All right, fair enough.
But anyways, continue.
So at that point, that's about like the first quarter of the show. Straight after next episode, Kamina dies. We get a replacement character, but it's not for the same role
Rude.
as Kamina. Well, I mean, they just
She's
filled-
more important than just. Well, I mean, she takes the place of Kamina in a little bit. You're right.
Yeah.
As
I mean-
Simone's emotional confidant.
Yeah, so we get Nia, the girl locked in a box.
The Spiral Princess.
How the fuck did she get in the box again? I know
Lord
Lord
Genome put her in the
Genome
box.
put her there, but
Yeah.
like,
So in the movie,
why wouldn't
at
he
least,
keep her in the castle with him?
So
the
there's some theories
box?
about this. The one that's given straight away is that he thinks of his daughters, because he has multiple daughters, because he's this like immortal being basically.
He's 1,000 years
And-
old.
And he sees his daughters as like dolls / playthings, and then as soon as he's like they cease to be like cute to him, he just like throws them away.
Okay.
Because there's multiple boxes there.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Or
Yeah.
maybe I did, but I didn't really think about it.
But like the reason that Simone even finds is because he like I don't know, something happens and he runs away with Lagann, and he finds like this field of boxes, and then like a new one gets dropped off, and that's the one that Nia's in.
Gotcha. So yeah, she basically becomes like the love interest, emotional confidant to Simone, but there is some backlash from Team Daiguren once they discover she's the daughter of the guy they're trying to fight.
Yep.
Naturally.
But they squash their beefs, everything's cool, and they start acquiring.
Well, they squash
the
their
required-
beef because she I
She
think
stopped.
she helps them fight Ariadne. That's her name, right?
Yeah, like the scorpion woman.
The scorpion lady. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
All of the 4 generals are named after like DNA sequences, so
Oh, I didn't know that.
I have to look it up, but the one is like Cytomandra is definitely named after like cytoplasm. And then
Makes sense.
I have to I'm trying to find it. So it's Timulf, Adiane, Cytomander, and Guam. And then so it's in reverse, or this isn't. Guam is guanine, Timulf is thymine, Adiane is adenine, adenine, and then Cytomander is cytosine. So yeah, they're all named after the nucleobases of DNA, because genetic engineering is like a huge part of the first half of the show.
And
Because that's how the Beastmen are made.
DNA and spirals. That is like a direct thing that they talk about at one point.
Yep.
Anything with spiral DNA. We'll get a little bit closer to that. So, like I said, they start acquiring everything they need to fight Lord Genome, and I think it is important to note that Lord Genome is one word, Lord and Genome. There's no space in between the two.
Yeah.
I was very confused when I watched the sub because I thought it was just like a fan sub and they fucked that up. Like, no, that's just his name. And also, it's important to note that I think he's probably one of the best. I don't know. Can you call like he's a villain, but
he's a
he's
dude
not.
antagonist, I would say. I think that's the right word. He's like an anti-hero in some ways.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's very hard to explain, but there's like some whole fucking 5D chess going on pretty much with all the
so
writing
not like
in
a
this
dude
show.
Antagonist, but yeah, I'd say he's an anti-hero in a lot of ways.
So eventually we get all our stuff we need. I don't really think anything important happens.
Viral is made immortal.
Oh, okay, that's right. He's
Because
made
he, like,
immortal and then gets put in jail.
He repeatedly fails like the Spiral King, and then like as a punishment, quote unquote, Lord Genome is like, "Oh, I'm gonna give you a new body, or I'm gonna like help. I'm gonna like do some stuff to your current body." He's like, "You're immortal," and then later on, I don't know. I think this is like right around where we're talking. He basically just straight up tells Viral like, "I knew what was going to happen, and you're just like here to be the storyteller for like every generation that comes after."
So yeah, Lord Genome was playing 5D chess.
Lord Genome was playing 5D chess, and we'll talk about it, I'm sure.
So we get to the finale fight with Lord Genome, who is piloting the gunman Lagann, which looks an awfully lot like Gurren Lagann.
Except it has bendy drills.
Interesting. He's the only person who can bend his drills. If you go on the Gurren Lagann wiki, that is one of the trivia facts about Lord Genome. Yeah. I for some reason that like cracked me up when I saw that. I thought that was just like such a stupidly specific thing.
Lord Genome and Lagann are my two favorite like mech and pilots in this show. Purely because when I was first watching the show, I was like, bendy drills are cool as hell, dude.
Bendy drills. So the fight's actually pretty insane. Eventually, they kind of come to a stalemate, in a sense, and Lord Genome's like, you know what, whatever. I'm getting out of my robot, and I'm going to punch your robot.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, I think it's because he knocks Lagann off of Gurren, and then he like realizes what Lagann is, and he's like, oh, I have to do this by hand now.
Yeah, so he hops out of his robot, Lagann, and just straight punches the head of Gurren Lagann. And would have probably killed Simone had he not had his core drill, which he then proceeded to shove in his chest and blow a big hole into his chest.
Yeah, up until this point, oh no, overall, Lord Genome is one of only two characters we see like visually manifest spiral power. Because he grows hair during that fight, and he's usually bald.
Oh yeah. That's right. And then I guess you see
and
it
then
in
like
his eyes too.
His eyes, and then like his chest hair changes shape too. It goes from like it turns from like a triangle into a spiral galaxy shape.
Yeah. So as he's dying, he gives his final message to Team Daiguren. And he says, when the land overflows with 1,000,000 apes, the moon shall become Hell's messenger and completely destroy the world of the spiral.
Yup. How ominous.
At this point, he smiles and falls off the top of the building, and things proceed to pretty much start going pretty wacky wild from there on out.
Well, things go pretty well for a good 7 years, and then things get pretty wacky wild.
See, but they did the classic anime trope of just being like, hey, we're doing a time skip here. We're 7 years ahead now, so we don't know what happened during those 7 good years. As far as we know, those aren't even real.
There's a big montage.
There's a big montage
of them like building. Well, I don't know if it's in the show. They're in the movie. There's definitely like a big thing of like, hey, we started building a city around Teplin, which was like Lord Genome's castle, quote unquote. And then they were like, we just kind of expanded from there and like new villages when we came across them, because they were just like digging out the underground. And it's like as we came, like they joined, and they basically established like a global civilization on Earth again in 7 years, because spirals.
Spiral power, baby.
And
But they don't know that yet.
they don't know that yet. And I mean, Simone it probably takes him a good couple years to carve that giant Kamina statue.
Nah, dude, he had spiral power. They could do that in like a day.
I mean, he
Just
could
bust out
later
those
on.
statues.
He could have just made it later on.
Just materialized it.
But there's also like stuff about like Beastman, human, like peace, and
Oh yeah, people are friends now. It's cool. Everything's chill. Simone is president, and the 1 millionth baby is going to put humanity over the tipping point.
do we want to talk about whose baby it is? Because we haven't talked about these characters yet.
Yeah.
There are two pretty important side characters. There's the black siblings, and then there's like the people from Yoko's village, Littner village. And there's a character named Dayaka, and I want to say it's Kion.
I don't remember the sister from the
I have to
black
look it up
siblings,
because it's
no.
gonna bother me. Black siblings. Hopefully that's okay. I didn't just get like a weird racial thing. Kyo? Yeah, okay, it's Kyo. So Kyo, who's the oldest sister of the black siblings, and Dayaka, who was a member of Team Daiguren. I guess both of them are members of Team Daiguren. Are the millionth child that is born on Earth, on the surface.
So
They
of
have
course
them.
it's got to
because
be
of
a
course
main
it is.
characters.
Yep. So, if you really want to put his finger on who the big issue comes from, it's Dayaka and his wife, who can't help but consummate their marriage.
Keep
How
it in your
selfish.
pants.
How
I mean, they didn't-
selfish.
They didn't know how.
They should have.
I don't think
Should've
anyone.
known.
Maybe Rossyu, who's another character we haven't talked about, who's like the studious like friend of Simone. Maybe he was keeping check of how many babies there were, but no one else was.
Fucking hate Rossyu.
Did they know like
Rossyu
when the millionth
is
baby?
a difficult
I hate him.
character to talk
Hate him.
about for a lot of people.
Sucks.
I mean, I would agree with you right up until like you see just how badly he regrets what he does. So
Fine. Fair enough.
also there's
Uh,
Liron, the
I was
gender
gonna talk
fluid
about
mechanic.
Liron. I love Liron.
Liron's great.
So we'll get into this little million baby thing.
Yeah.
As soon as the population reaches 1 million people, an alien race called the anti-spirals, who used to be spirals, but then all went to sleep so they could stop themselves from evolving, so that they could create one conscious called the anti-spiral to wipe
Yep.
out spirals.
Yep. To prevent the spiral nemesis.
Which is the destruction of everything because the spirals have advanced too far.
Yes.
Too far.
In the movie, I don't know if they explicitly say in the series, but in the movie, the anti-spiral, who I guess I refer to as masculine because he has a masculine voice, but he basically says spiral power and spiral people get to the point where they can't contain that power, and it will all just like explode out of them, and you'll have a million people all spawning galaxies at once, and it will just destroy the universe in a chain reaction.
It's like a million big bangs going off at once.
Yeah.
Essentially. I should have mentioned. Yeah, we're going full Pepe Silva right now, like connecting red yarn on a board to like.
I guess we should say
all this shit.
like what spiral power is, because I don't think we have. It's like the
Yeah.
Think of it as
well,
like the Force, but like not. It's like the power of life and evolution in the universe. And some people can give that physical form, and not a lot of people just have it unconsciously, I guess.
See, it's hard to talk about what spiral power is up until this point, though, because
Yeah,
up
that's
until this
true.
point, we don't know what it is.
We just think Simone has this weird glowy thing that happens.
He's just got a glowy power, but no. Turns out anybody with spiral DNA can harness spiral power, but the Beastmen can't. So the Beastmen don't count towards the million people.
And that's why Lord Genome had the army of Beastmen, because they didn't count, so that they could call the human population underground. Because... do we want to talk about that part? I think this happens pretty... well, no.
Yeah,
Let's
I
talk
guess
about... let's talk about, like, what happens when the anti-spiral shows up and, like...
Okay. So yeah, the anti-spirals show up, and they use Nia to announce their intentions. They have sent the moon onto a collision course with the Earth as part of their effort to wipe out all life on the planet. But spoiler, it's not really the moon; it's another gunman.
It's a giant space gunman.
Yes.
Also, it's kind of unclear, but, like, I think... I mean, it's explicitly stated, but it's unclear, and, like, they kind of gloss over it. But, like, Nia isn't even, like, the intentional plant for the anti-spiral, because they just, like, they said they, like, seeded their anti-spiral factor into, like, a newborn at some point on the planet. And they were like, oh, how ironic that the man who was known as the Spiral King, it's his daughter, is the one that carries our factor in her.
Oh, see, I never picked up on the fact that it wasn't like, even like,
Yeah.
like it was just kind of an ironic thing that happened. It's kind of cool.
It's called lazy writing.
No, I mean, once we talk more about the anti-spiral, you can see that they're just kind of not organized. They're highly organized, but at the same time, they're arrogant.
Chaos.
They're very arrogant to the point that they overlook things.
Okay.
Yes. All right. So it turns out Lord Genome, who is now a biocomputer, and by that I mean he is a head floating in a jar.
Yeah, they found... Rossiu secretly found his cells, cloned the head so that he could retrieve the memories and everything from the Lord Genome's brain, and then just, like, stuck it in a jar as, like, a secret project.
Makes perfect sense. So it turns out Lord Genome was once part of an intergalactic army of warriors that failed to stop the anti-spirals, and so forced mankind underground to protect them from the anti-spirals.
So they showed... the anti-spiral showed Lord Genome the spiral nemesis and what was going to happen. And that just caused, like, such a immense, like, mental break in him that he basically slaughtered the entire spiral fleet, pushed humanity underground, and then, like, set himself up as their immortal leader so that he could, like, make sure it never happened. Because at least that vestige of humanity would live.
Yeah, he was like a... I don't even know how to...
He's like a tragic anti-hero.
He was like a preservationist.
Yeah.
He, like,
He's kind of similar to, like, Thanos, where it's like,
Yeah, the
I
comparison
want the
can be
world
made.
to be better, but I also have to kill a lot of people, and you kind of can't have free will.
They also have
But at least you're
about
alive.
the same size fists as well. Like, Thanos has a very large hand, and Lord
They're also
Genome
both
also has
bald.
large hands. They're also
Yes.
both bald.
Thanos has a beard at one point.
Interesting. MCU is copying from Gurren Lagann, confirmed. You heard it here first.
Even though
folks.
Thanos is super old and has this dumbass Thanos copter, so...
Thanos copter is amazing, and
not.
you
But
can't
he was
change my
always
mind.
wearing a helmet back in the day.
Oh, fair enough. We didn't know he had hair.
Yeah, but it's kind of like wearing tall socks. Like, you wear something so long that you just don't grow hair there.
Yeah.
So we could have assumed that he was bald back then.
That's fair. Well, I mean, hey, man. He's, like, super powerful and stuff. Maybe, like, that's part of his superpowers is he can still grow hair underneath
So
that
in the
thick-ass
process of
helmet.
defending the communist city against the anti-spiral, Simone blows a bunch of it up, and the citizens are pretty pissed about that, to say the least. So Rossiu, being
Understandable.
the logic cuck he is, was like, well, we gotta have him scapegoat. We're gonna make it Simone. And Simone was like, yeah, that's
Okay.
fine, I guess.
That's fine. It's cool.
Better me than someone else.
He just went peacefully to jail,
Yeah.
where he was reunited with his best friend Vero. Yay!
In the movie, I don't know how much of it, because it's been a while since I watched the series, but in the movie, there's like a cute little Easter egg in the jail of like, there's a bunch of beastmen like beating Simone up, and like, you remember the fuzzballs? Who like have that like mech that combines into a bunch of
Oh,
like.
yeah.
They're there. The two monkeys from the first episode are there.
Really? That
Yeah,
wasn't in
there's
the
a whole
show for sure.
There's a whole bunch of them that like are beating Simone up in like the prison showers, and like then Viral's the one who stops it because he's like, "Yo, he can beat your ass if he wants to. He's just not."
He's just not. No, what happened in the show was he got in a fight with the Chicken Man who got de-winged.
The Chicken Man's there too. I forgot about the Chicken Man.
He was the monkey.
Timolf.
Timolf. Yeah, he was one of Timolf's guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they end up meeting up in jail, and then who else but Yoko comes in 7 years later, unannounced, and breaks him out.
Well, she was a teacher. She left like 3 years prior to become a teacher because she was like, I don't want to be in a government.
Fair.
Even though a lot of Team Gurren was also like, I don't want to be in a government, so they just drink all day.
I was about to say, was anybody in Team Gurren actually qualified to
Nope.
work in government?
In the movie, they
Besides
specifically
Ross.
maybe Ross. Yeah, in the movie they specifically say, "Hey, we'll just let Rossi do everything," and he does, which probably makes him extremely bitter, and that's why things happen the way they happen. But yeah, Yoko breaks Simone out of prison along with Viral on the condition that he joined Team Gurren, and he was like, "Yeah, why not?"
Yeah, why not? So.
Well, I
yeah,
think he's basically like, if this happens, Beastman will die too, so I'll fight.
Yeah. I was. He also mentioned something about how he's supposed to be like the
Like
the
storyteller.
one. Yeah. So that was like another thing that I think convinced him. He's like, well, if I got to be the storyteller, I might as well be the one making the story happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, they all team up, and they go to space. This is the first
Yeah, they
time
stop the.
we leave the Earth completely, and from here on out,
It's all
it
wild
just
and
gets
wacky.
wilder and wilder and wilder.
They like stop the anti-spiral and like on the from the moon, and they realize it's a giant gunman, and they're like, okay, Earth is safe for now. They also drag the real moon out of like
A
pocket dimension.
because the real moon was hidden.
Yeah. So they use like these like weird dimensional anchors to drag the moon back into place because they were like, well, we can't leave the Earth without a moon because that will fuck everything up.
I actually thought about that too. Like right after they combined with the moon, I was like, what's going to happen to the oceans?
Bad things.
I'm like lost and
like I said,
at the
it
same
gets
time-
it gets absolutely ridiculous.
We're not even into the fucking wildest part yet, bud.
How many episodes of this are there again?
27.
28. 27.
They fit so much into 27 episodes, but it's really they fit so much into like 14 episodes.
Yep. Also, after they save Earth, Rossiu, overcome with the guilt of like almost killing his best friend, attempts to commit suicide. And this is where we first see Simone like bending time and space with spiral power. At least in the show, I think he does it right. He like pops through like
he
a
learns
weird.
how to teleport. Essentially,
He like pops.
using
Yeah, he
spiral
teleports
power.
there.
He opens
In the movie-
interdimensional rifts.
Yeah, in the movie, I just forgot his fucking name. Who's the character you don't like? I can't think of his name. The one who almost kills himself. What's his name? I can't think of it.
Rasu.
Rossiu, thank you. I couldn't fucking think of it. I was blanking, and I just said it.
I almost just said
No.
Leon too. I was like, wait,
No, thank God. No, Rossiu in the movie, Rossiu like goes to a room on like the big space battleship, and like almost does it there, but Simon's like drills the lock, and then like the black sibling who has like the glasses bursts in, like slaps the shit out of Rossiu, and was like, "You could have relied on me," because she loves Rossiu.
She do be loving Rasu though.
But then they leave Rossiu on
eventually
Earth.
he loves her.
Yeah. And they leave Rossiu on Earth to help rebuild the city while they're gone. And
they go back to space.
they go back to space and then immediately do weird space time travel again.
Yeah, so essentially the robots just keep getting bigger and bigger, so they go through another dimensional rift to find
So,
the
wait, sorry. Specifically, they go through another dimensional rift by locking on to the engagement ring that Simone gave Nia, because otherwise they wouldn't have been able to detect the pocket dimension that the anti-spiral hid their homeworld in.
Because anytime anything is perceived once, you can perceive it in any dimension or something ridiculous like
Yes.
that.
I know people can't see it, but John's befuddled face of like, okay.
I'm just soaking it in at this point. I have nothing really to
In the
add
movie,
to
it's
this.
I don't remember. Again, I like I said, I don't remember much of the series, but in the movie, there's definitely like a scene where Simone just hands Nia like the green rock that will become her engagement ring, and he's like, "I want you to have this." And then like later on, he like has the gem carved down to like for the ring, her engagement ring, and I was like, "Hey, that's the rock he gave her."
Yeah, no, in the show he literally just gives her a ring because she brings him lunch.
Yes.
And then he's like, let's get married. And she's like, no.
No.
And then
I
she
think
realized, yeah.
Yeah. Well, she goes, no. And then, well, because he's like, oh. And I think she even asked him, like, because Nia doesn't understand, like, social things very well. Because she was raised as a, like, secluded princess.
Inside of a
And she's
box.
like, what is marriage? And he's like, oh, it's when like two people basically become like one person and you like live your life together. And she's like, no, you're your person, I'm my person, and we live two separate lives. That doesn't make sense. And then like she talks about it with the two black sisters. And she was like, oh, okay, I will marry him. And then that's when the anti-spiral shows up.
Yes. Where were we? Okay, so now we're at the point where we have combined with enough robots that they are essentially battling on galaxies.
Well, this hasn't... Do we want to... So, the big death happens before this.
Oh, yeah.
So they get pulled... When they finally get to the anti-spiral's pocket dimension, they get pulled into a super concentrated space waterfall, I think they call it, which is basically all of the spiral power from the spiral races that the anti-spiral is defeated, that like they feed through this machine and it becomes like the super condensed space, and it can like trap ships and stuff.
It's an ocean space.
Yeah. To break out of this, some stuff has to happen, and a character who we haven't really talked about, but Keaton Black and a couple other characters in the show, not in the movie, sacrifice themselves to break the machine and break Team Gurren out of the ultra condensed space. And it's Quentin's favorite character, so.
Yeah. Keaton really isn't like that cool up until like this moment, and then when this happens, you're just like, oh well, this is the best character in the fucking show. So
Because he has the great line of like, oh, this is spiral power, huh? It's pretty cool. I don't remember what he says after that, but he's basically like, this is all right, and then dies.
yep. That's
That's how Quentin's gonna die.
yeah, dude. It's a heavy.
He's just
it's
gonna
a
get to a point
heavy-hitting
where he's just
scene.
like,
So I'm pretty sure a bunch of his friends in the show die as well during this scene.
Yeah, dude. They just fucking.
In the
start
movie, they
cutting-
don't.
Cutting ties, cutting up loose
In the
ends.
movie, well, Yoko gives Keaton the kiss of death, as she did with Kamina,
Oh yeah.
which is a thing people joked about in the community for a while, and then it's like, well, Keaton kind of just stole that kiss and was like, I wanted to know what it would be like to kiss you before I die.
He knew he was gonna die. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And then, but yeah, no, in the movie, those guys don't die. It's just it's Space King Keaton that gets launched because he's the most aerodynamic and can cut through this condensed space the easiest.
Oh, that's
Because because his mech is a big star.
I don't really like that version as much as the show's version of why he did it.
See, I agree, but at the same time, like all of his like friends, like those hurt like a lot. Like Keaton's death hurts, but like his friends, like the mechanic's like husband.
Yeah.
And it's like that one was rough because like the episode before that they're like, oh yeah, she has 2 kids, and it's like, you can't show me that this guy has like 2 kids. I think even a baby. They just had a baby too. It's like you can't show me this guy's a father of 3 and then immediately kill him off in the next episode.
Yeah.
oh,
I don't know. I feel like they did a
Also-
really good job with it though. Like I would
the
have
mo-
preferred
oh, no,
it
I
that
agree.
way.
Well, in the movie they have a bunch of like cut mech designs that they get to use, so that's really fun and cool.
That's neat.
Like everyone gets a Super Galaxy variant of their Gunman.
I thought. Oh, well, for the most part in the show, everybody did. Too.
Yeah, a lot of them do, but like they get after like everything goes tits up for a little bit, everyone gets like new ones and they're really cool.
Okay, gotcha.
Like the guy who has like the monkey gunman, it turns into like a Wukong kind of thing. Where he's got like a big pole that like just hits the anti-spiral.
Yeah, see, I didn't like the original design, so that makes it a little better.
And then so after they break out of the ultra condensed space, there's the like desperate, like what is it called? Where he basically the anti-spiral basically shows everyone visions of like alternate dimensions. This is in the show, right?
Yeah.
And it's like Simone's is like him living a life with Kamina, and Yoko's is her being a teacher. There's like everyone has their own like little. Viral has the saddest, I think,
Yeah, he
by
has a whole
far.
family.
What?
He has like a whole family and shit.
Yeah, because he can't have children because beastmen are sterile, and he has like a wife and kids, and it's like. Viral's is really rough because he goes, oh, I'm just having a sappy dream, and then like looks at his like fake wife and daughter and then just zooms off on the shooting star that is Simone.
Yeah.
Also, there's a really great moment in the movie that I don't remember is in the show where like the spirit of Kamina like comes to Simone during this.
Yeah, no, that happens in the show too.
Does the part with Keaton happen? Where Keaton like also shows up during that vision, and he's like, "Yeah, like, are you gonna make my death in the movie?" He goes, "Yeah, are you gonna make my cool death all for nothing?" And then like very dead, like the deadpan comedy of the show comes back, and Kamina just goes, "Who are you?" Because that's like an ongoing bit with him and Keaton like having like a rivalry, and Kamina just doesn't want to acknowledge it. And then they have a really touching moment where Kamina's like, "Nah, I'm just kidding. How could I forget?" you, and then like it's like, oh,
Everybody's friends now. Amazing.
Now I have to watch. Now I gotta watch the movies and the show, so I can
it's
see
a whole
everything.
experience, honestly.
There's a
like
lot to it, yeah. Now let's talk about the giant fucking robot fight, dude. This is
Yes.
ridiculous.
So yeah, they get all pumped up with spiral power, and they basically
become
they
a
eventually turn
robot.
into they eventually become even like a huge amount of spiral energy condensed into the form of Kamina. At least in the movie, this happens.
No, not in the show.
Yeah, that happens
They
in the
don't
movie.
become Kamina.
Well, they have like the super. They get the big red one though, right, in the show, where it's like got like the green spiral
Yeah,
energy like connecting the
Tengentoppa-
limbs.
Yeah,
Tengentoppa
Gurren
Gurren Lagann.
Lagann.
Yeah, and then there's a big robot fight in space where they're just whipping around galaxies as like weapons, and at one point the anti-spiral takes two galaxies, shoves them together, and creates another big bang.
Yeah, they're like literally throwing galaxies like they're like kunai and shuriken and stuff.
I want another show, like as a spin-off of just what happens when they're throwing the galaxy. What's happening inside
So,
the galaxy?
there's no one. There's no one on those galaxies because it's a pocket dimension.
Those, yeah.
They just built them to like they're just manifesting them to use as weapons with spiral power.
Okay,
And then-
gotcha. Because if there was people or like
No.
organisms or whatever, I would
At
love
one-
a show to explain
Yeah.
just like what the fuck's going on.
At one point, like a tear in space time does happen, and like Earth sees what's happening,
Yeah.
and then that's when we get like the funny one of the funnier moments where Daitka has a move called I have the best wife in the damn universe swing, and he like grapples, like uses these huge grapple hooks to like hook onto the anti-spiral and just like swings it around before slamming it back down.
And then
Again, this might have just been a movie thing.
I think, yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure that's in the show. I don't remember though.
Also, Lord Genome gets his body back during this fight.
Yeah.
And then he ends up shooting himself out just in his Lazengon to fight the anti-spiral. And then eventually it's this whole fucking Russian nesting doll situation where all of the littler robots are coming out. And then eventually
Also, there's the moment where, the moment I was talking about where like the anti-spiral pushes two galaxies together to make another big bang, is the moment that like Lord Genome sacrifices himself to redirect all of that energy into spiral energy, and they shove it into Gurren Lagann. I think that's in the show too, right? It has to be. I remember that moment so specifically.
In the show, they used the Big Bang energy. Like, he shot out, absorbed it, and turned it like into a drill.
Yes, he does. He turns into a drill with his head and says, "Use this, Simone."
Yeah.
And then like the mech eats it, and it becomes like even bigger.
Yeah. And then yeah, it turns into a Russian nesting doll situation where all of the robots are shooting out of the robots because it's literally robots inside of robots inside of robots.
The thing is that the anti-spiral homeworld is on like the helmet thing of like their big robot, so they're just like destroying all of them to try and get to that. Also, Lord Genome has a really fucking cool line when he gets his body back, which is like Viral's like, "Oh, you've snapped out of your 1,000-year doldrums, I see, Spiral King," and he goes, "I'm no king, just a simple warrior like you and everyone else, Viral." And I'm like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah, they did a really good job making Lord Genome really good, really cool. But eventually,
Also, there's a scene where he apologizes to Nia, and it's like kind of heartwarming. He's like, "Listen, I don't have any space to like talk as your father, but like do what you have, like we have to finish this fight." And she's like, "Yeah, I know." And then she calls him father, and it's like, oh no.
No.
This last episode legitimately makes me cry. So
a lot happens, but they get to the end of the fight, the end of the Russian nesting doll situation, and if I'm not mistaken, the final fight ends the same way that the final fight with Lord Genome ends.
In the movie, it does.
Okay.
In the show, the last thing that happens is Viral takes the head off of Gurren Lagann, so it's just Lagann, and does the Lagann impact, which is when Gurren whips Lagann and it like has a little drill coming out of it, and it like pierces whatever it's drilling into. That happens in the show.
Okay.
In the movie, Simone ejects out of Lagann and just has a fucking straight up fist fight with the anti-spiral.
Oh.
And eventually,
that sounds a lot cooler.
It's very cool. And eventually, like, manifests spiral power into a drill on his hand and, like, does a dash through him.
See, I must have watched the movies, because, yeah, that's how I thought, like, it ended, where you, like, yeah.
Well, that's
the
also
drill
in
thing.
that, it's in that AMV that I showed you years ago.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's where I'm getting this memory from.
But, I think we've maybe have watched the movies. I don't remember. But,
so, finally...
there's a whole thing about... Yeah, they defeat... Oh, sorry, you can go. It's your
I was
episode.
going to say, finally, we defeat the anti-spirals. This, however, means that Nia is going to fade away into nothing.
Yeah, the anti-spiral also has, like, a line that says, like, if this is the way things have to be, you have to protect the universe at all costs. And Simone's like, of course we will. Who in the hell do you think we are? Which is a ongoing line in the show.
Yeah. So, Simone and Nia know that Nia is going to fade away, so they decide to go back to Earth and have their wedding ceremony.
I think it's 6 months they have that she can, like, contain the thing. It's either a month or 6 months.
They even said in the show, it was, like, impressive that she was, like, even able to keep herself around that long.
She does it, like, out of sheer willpower and love for Simone.
Mm-hmm. So... after this happens, Simone decides that he's not a warrior anymore.
And he passes
a digger.
He passes the core drill on to a character we didn't talk about, but
Dari?
Gimme and Dari, they're twins from the same village as Rossyu, who kind of become like the successor to Simone almost, because they're piloting like the mass-produced mechs after the time skip, which are like kind of based off of Gurren Lagann. Yeah.
The cheap Chinese knockoffs, if you will.
They're called, I don't remember what they're called. They have a B name, I think. But anyway.
Bakuzan?
Yeah, he passes... Oh, no. I don't think so. But he passes on the core drill to Gimme, and he's like, now it's time for the next generation to like dig their tunnels, and it's very sweet. Also, Gimme has a line after the wedding where it's like, why can't we just use Spiral? Why can't Simone just use Spiral power to bring back Nia and everyone else we've lost? And Simone just goes, because if I did that, we would have, like, the older generation would just get in the way. It's just the natural course of life for people to die. Like, if we just had, we would just have too many people.
Yeah.
To the point where, like,
we can't just
overpopulate.
play God.
Yeah. We can't play God. It would like be a bad thing to have all these people like still around.
Also, Bakuzan is Satsuki's sword from Kill la Kill.
Oh, okay. I thought it sounded familiar.
I was like, yeah, it sounds familiar. So, yeah.
Also,
I guess after that we get another time skip.
It's important to say that early on in this, back when Simone proposes, he asks Nia what her dream is, and she says she just wants to plant flowers. And then, after the time skip, the flowers come back in a pretty big way. Oh, maybe this is maybe this is a movie only scene.
Thing.
Is the part where the old Simone
no
digs the well happen?
Different. No, it's completely different.
Okay, you tell this part then. I'll tell how it happens in the movie.
Finally, we reach the epilogue 20 years later, where we learn that Simone is now just a simple digger again, showing the youth of the world how to open coconuts with drills.
So this does happen in the movie, but before the coconut scene, there's a There's a scene where he's like digging a well for like this community out in the desert, so they can have water, obviously. And no one else could get through the bedrock except for Simone the digger. And then like the village chieftain is like, "Oh, what can we do to repay you?" And he's like, "Just plant flowers." Because it was Nia's dream to cover the planet in flowers.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that was definitely movie only. Cause yeah, in the final scene in the show, it's just like Simone's talking to the kid, shows him how to open a coconut with his drill, and then the kid sees the gunman flying over. I'm pretty
To
sure
go
it's
into
Gurren
space.
Lagann. I'm pretty sure
Well,
Gimme and Dari going into space.
It is Gimme and Dari. They're going into space because they're having they arranged the Spiral Council, which is like a council of all spiral
The
worlds.
UN
And they were
spiral
meeting.
beings.
They were meeting
So,
in space.
and the kid's just like, "Oh, do you think that could be me one day?" And Simone's like, "Heck yeah, it can." And then you
Also
see
also
one of his eyes is now spiraled.
Yeah. Also in the I don't know if it's a movie cutaway, but the last frame of the movie is like Kamina's grave, and then next to it there's like a little marble grave that's for Nia.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just a field of flowers.
That actually comes up before the
Okay.
coconut scene. in the
Oh, maybe
show.
you're right. I think that is like the cutaway before the credits, and then like the credits roll for a little bit, and then that scene happens in the movie.
Yep, you get the post-credit time skip. And on that, Gurren Lagann is over.
Yeah.
For a show, I'm about to do a show that is like over 1,000 episodes long, and you just did one that was only 27, and it took this long. I don't understand how they jam that much stuff into 27 episodes.
So, fun story. We were supposed to record yesterday, and I was supposed to do the outline, but I legitimately got overwhelmed by trying to figure out how to talk about everything in like a correct amount of time that like it just kind of like overwhelmed me, and I was like, I don't think I could get this all done tonight.
That's crazy.
We didn't really talk about Leron, who's a really fun character. Who's like they.
Oh,
They're the
in the English dub, Leron refers to himself as a he.
So
I'm not
in
sure.
the movie with this movie's only in a sub. In the movie, he said I'm trying to be as vague as possible. They say like, "Oh, I'm equal parts man and equal parts woman," so I just assumed it was like a gender fluid character.
No,
but I guess
I
you
definitely
can be back and forth.
I definitely think that Leron being more of like a non-binary gender fluid thing was lost in translation for sure.
Also, considering he's
100%.
played by in the English dub, they're played by Steve Bloom, who has like the most masculine voice ever.
Yeah. I think Steve still did a pretty good job.
Oh,
of,
he
like,
does.
kind of
Yeah, it's a
having,
great
like,
job on
a
that character.
bit of a feminine touch to it. Like there's just
Yeah.
enough.
I would totally
Actually,
agree.
speaking of too, this works out perfect since next week is Naruto. Simone is the same voice actor as Sasuke, Yuri Lowenthal.
Yep.
Oh, nice. I still love Naruto's voice actor the most, just because how she looks in real life.
Isn't she like a really old woman, or is that Goku?
No, it's
Also-
it's her.
Fun fact: talking about gender fluid characters, do you know who voices Orochimaru?
Who?
Steve Blum.
Oh,
There's so many crossovers. It's amazing.
dude, I keep getting so pissed off at Shippuden because a bunch of background characters are all voiced by the same dude that does Meliodas from the Seven Deadly Sins.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, it's like every other fucking background character is his voice. I'm like, did they just have him on standby?
they just
That's
like
how-
gave
Just
him
be like,
a
"Hey."
long list of things. They're just like, just say these, and we'll fill
Just
it
like,
out.
Deadass.
here-
That's how a
here's
lot
like
of anime are with
yeah.
Steve Bloom. They'll just get him for like bit parts, and then he'll be gone, and then he'll come back for another bit part.
Yeah, it's like here's like 100 different lines. Just read them all, and we're just gonna put them in places. I don't know what you're gonna look like. You're gonna have to watch the show to figure out who you are.
We're not even gonna know by the time this is done.
I don't think so. It's so fucking weird. Voice acting world is just a whole nother world.
It's strange. If you want a good piece of voice acting lore history, there's like this whole thing about the lost Super Monkey Ball voice actor on YouTube.
What?
It's I'm not gonna explain it right now because we've already talked for an hour and a half, and I could talk about that for a long time. So I'll leave it on that.
Fair.
I was gonna say we kind of had like an open discussion thing for favorite and least favorite characters, but I think me and Tim pretty much touched on ours
Yeah.
for the most part. Actually, who is? I don't know if you've said like a specific favorite.
It's Lord
Lord
Genome.
Genome. I knew that.
Yeah.
Why did I even ask? As we said earlier, mine is Keaton and fuck Rossio.
I'll get back to you guys on my answer.
And just like a random episode a couple weeks down the road, just tell us.
Yeah, like when it might be like next year. I don't
That's
know.
fine.
It'll be
Just-
at some point. and then
Eventually,
just
you'll have to let us know.
whenever, maybe not next episode, but hopefully some episode that I host, I will just open the episode up with just a name of my favorite character from Gurren Lagann.
I hope it's. Like
I'll just say the
Gunman.
character's name and then we'll just keep going.
Amazing.
That's fair.
We'll all know. I guess you guys ready to wrap it up then?
I'm good if you guys are.
All right. You can find me, Q, on twitter.com at Gondola Driver, Twitch /boxwine, but the O is 0. I think that's all you can find me at.
Yeah. You can find me at Letterboxd, Timmy C. Again, I say this every week, but I haven't fucking read a review in a while. I also haven't watched a movie in a while for some reason. I guess I could review the Gurren Lagann movies.
There you go.
Everything else is Hot Pink Waffles, and my Twitch is TJams, TEAJAMZ. I might start streaming these Palestine 8 bundle games, so
What is it? T-Jams with a Z?
TEAJAMZ. My profile picture should be Char from Gundam, I think. I don't remember now.
I'm following you guys right now.
I had to like go find my Twitch. Yeah, it is.
Do you only have like one follower right now?
Yeah, that's me. That's me.
There you go. Now you got 2.
Did I not follow Tim back? I feel so bad.
Oh, it's okay.
We all forget sometimes.
I've tried to stream once and it didn't go well because of my CPU.
Oh yeah, that's kind of an important part of it.
Well, I was also trying to stream Final Fantasy XIV, which is like a super CPU intensive game, and then I was like, I'm dropping so many frames.
Fuck.
You can find me at jmergs on wherever you want to find me at. Twitter, Twitch. Twitter I don't do anything on. Twitch and Instagram. That's the
YouTube.
other one. Oh yeah, YouTube too. Thanks. Yeah, I actually recorded an episode, like a video the other day. I just gotta edit it and put it together. So I'm starting to do things again like a normal person. So we're getting back to
being a
normal.
normal human. Let's go.
Not really. I guess not being a normal human, just being like a functioning. One day maybe I'll make money doing things like this.
Maybe.
But right now I'm not gonna quit my day job.
I am. Fuck it. This is my 2 weeks.
It's your 2 weeks
Yep.
for the podcast or for?
For my job.
Oh, okay.
Quitting.
It's like don't
Fuck
quit.
it. Nah, dude.
Quit the podcast. I want a formal resignation letter from you if you ever leave this. podcast.
A formal. I gotta type it out and shit.
I wrote a formal. It wasn't actually when we stopped. It was a mutual thing when we stopped the other podcast we were on. But I definitely had penned a formal resignation letter, basically saying that our other co-host for it, Alex, had bullied me into quitting. And I think I posted it like, I gave it to him like on episode. I was like, I quit, and then I was like, I'm just kidding. I'm back.
I'm back. Amazing. All right. Well.
Jesus Christ.
Everybody
All
have
right.
beautiful days, beautiful nights, kissies.